So hello, everybody. Welcome to our Tuesday stability class. Hopefully you're all feeling okay. And today we'll be focusing on the tubular core. So we will be getting it in different ranges of motion. If you have a pillow or blanket or something that you can put between your knees to squeeze, we will be doing a little bit of that in how we raise up. And that is just to focus some energy in the adductors, the inner legs, which are generally weaker, and also so that we maintain positioning as we do our lifts to get a little bit of the front of the body. So go ahead, settle in, take a couple deep, easy breaths. Allowing breath to deepen into the lower ribs and belly. Ease in the face just by bringing awareness. And if nervous system isn't happy, nothing is happy. And strengthening doesn't happen as well because nervous system is focusing on secure, protect, support. So lots of things. Repair doesn't need to happen. Digestion doesn't need to happen. Fertility doesn't need to happen. Nothing that doesn't involve immediate survival needs to happen. So bringing some ease to the nervous system first. And bringing your focus and feeling into an intention for your practice today, as if it is true right now. All right. So just to bring in some gentle movement, we're going into the body gently. Go ahead and roll the shoulders out a little bit. We will be putting some weight onto them today. Gently rolling the head out. Go to your 60%. Just introducing movement. Come to center, take a couple deep, easy breaths. Gently rub on the sternum a little bit. All right. So we're going to bring in some arm movement. So inhaling, arms come up. Exhale, come down to one side. Getting some length in the side body. Inhale, allowing ribs to spread. Exhale, arm comes down first, then body, then head comes up. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, come down to the opposite side. Allowing the ribs to spread on a nice deep inhale. And on the exhale, arm comes down first, then body comes up and head. I'm going to do that a couple more times. Following your own breath at your own pace. Arm down first, then body comes up, then head. Last one. And last one on the last side. Take a couple breaths at center. Notice what things feel like in the arms, what things feel like in the rib cage. Just to get a gentle twist and maybe release some tension in the spine. Feet will come in front of you. You're going to lean back and twist on the exhales. Back. Exhale and twist. Take a couple breaths. Notice how things feel. So we got side motion. We're going to get back and forth a little bit, front and back. So you can do this right where you are. I like bringing my knees out a little bit so I have something to hold on to for a bit of a seated cat-cow. So inhaling, body comes forward, spreading through the front of the body. Exhale, rounding out through the back. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, releasing through the back. Taking a few more at your own breath and at your own pace. So this is something you can do seated at your desks. And also if you're having hand, wrist, elbow, shoulder problems, this is something that you can do. So you don't have to be on all fours to do this. And last exhale, last cat for now. But again, simple, easy to do at your desk. Come back to center, take a couple deep, easy breaths. Easy in the breath, easy in the face. All right, so getting into twist, whatever feels good for you, go ahead, twist to one side. On the inhales, you can deepen the twist, letting ribs spread. Exhale, notice if your twist releases and can go a little deeper. Deep, easy breaths. One more. Come back to center. So finding space in our tissues so that we can have a fuller range of strength. Take a deep breath at center. Notice if one side of the rib cage feels a bit more spacious. All right, opposite side. Inhale. Exhale, twisting. On the inhales, allowing that rib cage to spread. Maybe releasing a little bit more into your twist on the exhales. One more breath. Come back to your center. Hopefully you feel equally spacious in both sides of the rib cage. Taking a couple breaths. So we did 6 directions for the spine. We're going to do the last 2 because it is up and down. We're going to do it lying down, but we're going to allow the body to stretch, and that'll prepare us for the rest of our tubular core focus today. So come on down, side first. Release any tension you may have in the body. And then you're going to push through the feet, lengthen through the arms, and allow the spine to get some release. Noticing what things feel like in the shoulders, don't force it. If shoulders really aren't feeling great, you are in a wide V for the arms, whatever feels good. But deep, easy breaths, finding all your expansion here. Last couple of breaths. And release at center. And windshield wiper the knees a little bit. Take a couple of breaths at your center. Again, when we talk about core, core is attached to everything. And it includes a lot of different tissues, including hip flexors, including what keeps our shoulders in place. So we're going to focus on doing a specific breath for anytime you lift, anytime you are doing standing poses. In yoga, they call it the locks, your bandhas. So we're going to be working on Mula Bandha. And that is at the bottom of the trunk of the body. So taking deep breaths, you can bring hands to the belly to focus, allowing for an expansive breath on the inhale. And on the exhale, everything that is below the belly button, including what is underneath, is going to gently hug up and in towards the spine. Inhales are nice and spacious for this. Exhales, gentle hug up and in. So this is a gentle hugging up and in to support the organs, to support the pelvic floor, to support the core. A lot of people engage their cores and they're squeezing out and down. This is how hernias happen. This is how prolapses happen. This is how injuries happen. So I'm not going to your 100%, go to like your 60%. We're just engaging the muscles. Because you may be feeling it in your low back. These are all muscles that help support the back. So these are not necessarily muscles you want to work to fatigue because they hold you up, especially if you have nerve issues, disc issues, back issues. Last breath. All right, so we're going to start with the pelvic floor portion of the tubular core, and we'll work our way up. We're also going to get back of the body for our core. So go ahead and grab whatever you're using for between the knees. Maybe it's a pillow, maybe it is a blanket that's folded up, but just so that your hips or your knees are about hip width apart. It's going to go between the knees. You want to gently hold it. Inhale, deep, easy, spacious breaths. Exhale, gently squeeze whatever you have. Maybe it's a pillow, maybe it's a blanket, while hugging that core up and in. Everything below the belly button is hugged up and in. We're going to take 5 breaths this way, then we're going to make it more difficult. Loose on the inhales, spacious. Exhale, everything up and in, squeezing gently. All right, we're going to include a pelvic bridge on the exhale. So inhale, loose and easy. Exhale, squeeze up, bringing that pelvis up. Deep inhale at the top. Exhale, vertebra by vertebra coming down. So you're holding that core at the bottom. Nice, deep, easy, spacious breath. Exhale, squeeze, lift. By squeeze, I mean hug in, right? Deep breath at the top. Exhale, vertebra by vertebra coming down. At the bottom, nice inhale, deep, easy. Exhale, gently hug in and lift. Deep breath at the top. Exhale, vertebra by vertebra coming on down. And release. Windshield wiper it out. Take a few breaths at center. So we're going to do a modified boat pose. Again, this is for core. So we're going to keep Feet down on the ground, knees are bent. Again, you can use whatever you were using between the legs just to kind of bring some awareness. Often knees tend to kind of flail out when we do these things. So we want to keep things nice and close to the midline. So just as an awareness, a bit of awareness. So coming in, gentle inhale, spacious. On the exhale, engage that tubular core, bring it up and in. Arms are out in front of you. Inhale. Exhale, gently come down. Spacious breath. Exhale, come up. Inhale at the top. Exhale, vertebra by vertebra coming down. Inhale, deep, spacious. Exhale, hug everything in, come on up. Inhale. Exhale, gently let the vertebra come down. And last one, inhale, spacious. Exhale, hug everything in, come up. So stabilize first. Deep inhale. Exhale, letting the vertebra come down one at a time. And release. So you may have felt it in your upper rib cage. Deep, easy breaths. All right, turning to your side. Head's gonna come up last. We're going to get side body. So we are going to remain, knees are bent. You're on your forearm, making sure your shoulder is not out to one side or the other, and it can be slightly out from the body depending on what feels good for you. Maybe you feel better with the shoulder directly over the elbow. Maybe you feel better a little bit further out. You're going to see what feels good in your body, but you definitely want it to be centered. You don't want elbow in front of, in regards to the front of your body, or back behind you. So taking a couple deep breaths just to get used to it. So deep inhale, exhale, hugging that tubular core up and in, everything from the pit of the abdomen, underneath the belly button, all that, and the underneath come up and in. So you see how your rib cage is slightly swayed out on the one side. On the exhales, we're going to lift so that our rib cage is fully even. So using the breath, not the arm. So that tightening of the core is going to be doing the lifting, not pushing through the arm. Gentle lift on those exhales. You can see it. So spacious on the inhales. Everything kind of comes up on those exhales. So we're getting those intercostals, we're getting serratus, we're getting QLs. There's a lot of tissue happening here. So we're going to want to try one more, a little bit more intense, and you will be pushing out through the arm a little bit on this. So inhale. Exhale, hips come up as well, but rib cage first. And down. Inhale, spacious. Exhale, rib cage comes up first. Then you can lift the hips. And down. All right, come on down. Take a few deep, easy breaths. Notice how one side may feel differently than the other. People with scoliosis, this is going to be an important one to strengthen muscles that are overstretched. But more important than that is releasing those, I would call it that tension in the body that's pulling the bones out of whack. So nervous system first, always. I have a student that has some pretty intense scoliosis, hasn't been to the chiropractor ever since they started doing more of a therapeutic yoga class. All right, let's get the other side. You can just roll over right where you are. I just don't want my rear facing you. So again, set yourself up so that your elbow is under your shoulder, and I mean in relation to the front and back of the body. It can be out a little bit depending on what feels good for you, or it can be directly underneath the shoulder joint. So nice and relaxed first. Taking those deep, spacious breaths. On your next exhale, you're gently going to lift by engaging the muscles in the trunk of the body. So inhale, exhale, pit of the abdomen first, using the muscles in the core of the body to lift. Inhale, spacious. Exhale, lifting. And you'll notice when you're doing this and you're more in the shoulder, you don't want that. We want to focus that attention in the core of the body. Taking a few breaths at your own pace. Making sure you engage the core first. So it might be subtle movement in your case. It doesn't, you know where your body is in this moment. Taking a couple more. And then we'll integrate the hips. Next one, core engages, then hips rise. Taking 2 to 5 breaths that way. Whatever feels good for you. Again, remember to engage the core first. And release down. Windshield wiper the knees a little bit. Taking a few breaths at your center. What does your breath feel like? You can gently rock head side to side. Sometimes those neck muscles get really overworked. Or if you have shoulder and neck issues, this can exacerbate things a little bit because you are pulling on those as well. You are engaging those muscles as well. So go ahead and release them by gently rocking head side to side. Take a couple breaths at center. All right, y'all, go ahead and roll over. We're going to get back of the body, which is also part of the tubular core. Go ahead and rest at your center. Seeing what it feels like for back of the body to spread. You can roll your femurs and your upper legs in at the hip joint and allow heels to roll out a little bit to get a little bit of extra space in the lumbar spine and in the sacrum if it's a little crunchy in there for you. And when we say lumbar spine, we mean that curve that curves in towards the body right above your bum. All right. So hands are going to come directly underneath the shoulders. Head is going to stay, forehead is going to stay on the ground or chin, whatever feels good for you. Inhale deep. Exhale, engage tubular core. And you can keep it engaged if you like here. So on the next breath, inhale, we're going to come up, just the head and shoulders. And you can pull back on the hands a little bit. Keeping that core engaged, especially coming down. Take a breath. And engage the core. Inhale up. Exhale down. Take a deep cleansing breath at the bottom, just allowing things to relax. Inhale, coming up. Engaging the core first. You can bring hands off the mat. Exhaling down. Cleansing breath at the bottom. On your next inhale, coming up. Hands can come off the mat. If you're feeling really adventurous, you can elongate the arms behind you. Exhaling down. Arms can come down too. Cleansing breath at the bottom. Inhale, come on up. Engaging core first. Exhaling down. Taking a few more at your own pace. Making sure you aren't engaging the glutes too much. We want to focus the action in the upper body. And rest at your center. Taking some deep, easy breaths. All right. So from here, we're going to come forearms and knees on the ground. I know usually you're used to hands and knees, but we're going to do forearms and knees. So again, making sure you are somewhat underneath your shoulders, your shoulder joints, noticing where things need to be for you. So inhale, allowing things to be really relaxed. Exhale, using your core to bring your spine into a more neutral position. Inhale, release. Exhale, that pit of the abdomen, everything below the belly button and underneath comes up and in, bringing you to neutral. So here we're using a whole lot, right? And yes, it is a bit of a cat-cow, but we're going to get a little bit more intense in a second. But isolating the movement into that core, as opposed to just tilting the pelvis. So then engagement of everything that is in the pit of the abdomen and underneath, that is what begins the movement. And then you can tilt the pelvis too, if you like. We're going to bring arms into this and then arms and legs into this. So inhale, deep and easy. Exhale, one arm comes out. Inhale back down. Exhale, opposite arm comes out. Coming back down, inhale. Making sure you aren't shifting too much into one side or the other. You're engaging the core first and then allowing that tubular core to stabilize you to lift it. Inhale, exhale, core first, then lift. Inhaling down. Exhale, lift opposite side after, stabilizing first. Take a couple breaths at your center. Just relaxed and easy. This time we're going to bring the legs out and then we'll do arms and legs at the same time. Not all four at once, don't worry. Don't worry. Inhale. Exhale, stabilize first. Leg comes out, making sure your pelvis isn't shifting too much. Inhale, come back in. Exhale, stabilize. Leg comes out. By out, I mean straight back, not out to the side. Although you could do that too, but it's a bit more challenging. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Alternating legs at your own pace, making sure pelvis stays level. And you're using the core to engage first. One last rotation. Go back into child's pose just to rest for a moment. Deep, easy breaths. I think in some ways this is more challenging being on the forearms, frankly. All right, coming back onto forearms and knees. Here we're going to really need some stabilization through the shoulders. So making sure in your shoulder joint you are somehow rotated out, not in. So you're not collapsing in. You're kind of pushing out through the collarbones. So taking a nice deep inhale. On the exhale, engage that core, stabilize. Then one leg and one arm are going to come out opposite sides. Inhale in. Exhale, switch sides. Exhale, stabilize, and then out. Switching sides at your own pace. Doing, I don't know, maybe 10 in each side. And maybe 5 in each side. And the last one. And come on back into child's pose. So in this case, we got front, back, and sides of the tubular core. Not just tubular, right? I mean, the spherical core, I should call it. Again, if your neck is feeling a little cranky, go ahead and move the head a little bit. You're fully supported here. You can kind of drag it from one side to the other, getting some movement back in the neck, gentle movement and kind of rocking it. Resting back at your center. All right. One last one, and then we'll go into Shavasana. So come on to your backs. Situate yourself so you can see what your contact points feel like resting on whatever surface that you're on. Deep, easy breaths. So you have an option here to bring a support underneath the back of your pelvis. So you can use a pillow or a blanket if you have it, if you like. You don't have to use it, but it does help with the pelvic tilt. Go ahead and hug knees in towards you. I like holding back underneath the knees. If your knees need to be wider, you can bring knees out more towards the shoulders where you hold them, depending on what's going on in your hip joints. And here we're just going to allow the breath to release the pelvic floor. So yes, it is important to have tone and strength and stability in the pelvic core. But if it has no movement, if it's locked down and it is in constant contraction, that can cause some major problems. So just to help release it here. Before we do one more stability, and then we'll come back into release and then Shavasana. All right, so hopefully we feel a bit more spacious in our pelvic core, keeping one leg hugged in, opposite leg stretches out. Inhale deep and easy. Exhale, engage tubular core, lift the leg. And it may be just a little bit, depending on where your muscles feel most engaged. So maybe just a little bit. Go ahead and push through that heel as well. Inhale, relaxing down. Exhale, engage tubular core, then lift. Five more at your own pace with your own breath. Again, we're training the body to engage that hugging in whenever we lift. And hug both knees in. You can rock side to side a little bit. So you're definitely getting your QLs. You're definitely getting hip flexors, which wrap around. There are some that wrap around from the back of the body. One wraps around through the inside of the body, the psoas, and wraps around the back, around the front of the hip and attaches in the back. But there are those that wrap from around the back of the body as well. So hug the other leg in, leg comes out. Inhale, deep and easy space. Exhale, core first, then lift. Inhaling down. 5 times with your own breath. And why pushing through the heel? Because it engages that whole front line and back line of the legs in different ways. So front is contracting, back is finding some space while also being engaged. Face is easy, y'all. No cringing. All right, last one. And bring leg back towards you, rock it out. Hopefully you aren't cursing my name later on or today. Take a couple breaths, allowing that pelvic floor to release. Now you know what you can do to help release low back and stuff. This can be very helpful, this position. And come into whatever Shavasana feels good for you today, making sure you have something underneath the knees to support you. That's going to take pressure off that lumbar spine, that curve above your bum. If you really want to take pressure off of it, put your calves on a chair or couch, having knees and hips at 90-degree angles. So that way it can fully rest on the ground. Getting comfortable, whatever feels good for you, whatever feels most supportive for you. Feeling how you're supported here. What does that felt sensation of support underneath you feel like? Allowing yourself to release into it. It has you, it's got you. Finding that inner ground, that inner okayness, that inner resource. That space where you are always whole and unharmed. Allowing yourself to rest here, to be nourished and recharged. Gently coming back. Feeling how you're supported here. Breath naturally happening by itself. Gently rolling out wrists, ankles, rocking head. Coming into a more comfortable position, or you can stay right where you are. And if it feels good for you, bringing palms together at heart center, allowing sides of the thumbs to rest on the sternum. Thanking our bodies for all that they do for us. Thanking ourselves for giving love and care and time to our bodies and beings. And I thank you for choosing to share your practice with me today, everyone. Thank you. Om Shanti.